Welcome to the American Institute of Healthcare Professionals Videogram on the negative effects of alcohol consumption on the body. And I'm filling in for Dr. Flary, the course author. My name is Mark Moran. I'm the Assistant Executive Director with AIHCP. And what we're going to discuss in this video is just some basic concepts regarding alcohol consumption, and its many negative effects on the body itself. Now, we have physical effects as well as emotional effects. So alcohol in itself affects the entirety of the human person. Now, individuals are still nonetheless inclined to drink, sometimes due to addiction, peer pressure, or other external pressures or stressors that may exist in their life. And so inappropriate coping strategies emerge where the individual might turn to this particular drug to escape reality. Others look at it more as a way of release from tension, for enjoyment. And in these cases, if used in moderation, it is far less addicting and it is far less damaging to the body itself. But for others who lack the ability to control themselves with drinking, it can lead to grave health, social, and legal issues where it comes to drinking and driving, or God forbid, involuntary manslaughter in a car crash where someone is killed because of drinking and driving in itself. So there's many reasons why people turn to it. There are some individuals who do not misuse it, but there are many more who obviously use it to the point where it becomes a health issue. Now, within these health issues, we see a variety of physical effects ranging from slurred speech, slower reaction time, poor coordination, with also emotional outbursts. Now, we can see why these things are bad just walking around, but can you imagine if someone is trying to drive with poor coordination and late reaction times as well? So it becomes even more dangerous, these physical manifestations of alcohol when behind the wheel. But within the body, over time of heavy consumption, over years of heavy consumption, and even with those who partake in binge drinking, where they drink heavy maybe just once a week for a long period of time, the body eventually has enough. While an individual is younger, they might have a higher metabolism to process many of the drugs' long-term effects on the body. It's able to process the substance out. But for those who are older, these feelings, physical manifestations of alcohol persist longer. And because the body has been subjugated to alcohol for such a long period of time, the organs themselves begin to have a negative, feel the negative effects of the drug. So we look at the pancreas first. Drinking increases digestive enzymes that cause pancreatitis over time. Also, the liver, which is one of the most known organs that is negatively affected. It can cause cirrhosis of the liver through the inflammation of the tissue over time, just by the consistent pounding of the drinking itself. Blood sugar is also negatively affected when drinking, and those who drink long-term can increase their chances of diabetes. The digestive system is also negatively affected, especially over time. There's a lot of inflammation, ulcers, and bloating that can occur within the digestive tract. The heart can also be affected with long-term drinking, causing cardiovascular disease. And dehydration can also occur in the short term, but in the long term, causing many issues throughout the body itself, especially with inflammation. The immune system is also affected, as well as the brain. Long-term drinking can shrink the frontal lobe. It can kill brain cells. And in the short term, it can obviously affect motor control, speech, and cause difficulty for individuals to concentrate and lead others to emotional outbursts. So over there is the complete list of many of the physical effects and what occurs long-term for individuals who do not begin to moderate or completely walk away from this particular drug itself. During the process, though, of these physical effects, I alluded to a little bit, when someone is younger, in their prime, in their early 20s, usually they're able to, with their higher metabolism, process the drug out of their system. Older individuals have a harder time, so their hangover is more over a course of days, maybe longer fatigue. But individuals, regardless, are going to have some type of negative effect the next day. So as the body tries to rebalance, it is going to go through a series of events that were started through the alcohol. The big question the next day always is, was it worth it? And eventually, as individuals age, maybe they start to understand that it definitely isn't worth it. But it seems like a lot of individuals need to hit that wall countless times before they start moderating the evening before. So with the dehydration, one is going to awaken thirsty, maybe dizzy and lightheaded. The stomach lining, there will be irritation, pain, nausea, vomiting. The drop in blood sugar can cause weakness, fatigue, and shakiness. The contraction of the blood vessels themselves due to dehydration can cause massive headaches. And the neurotransmitters in the brain can, through the effect of alcohol on them, can cause an anxiety. So an individual might be already feeling kind of guilty for drinking the night before, but the anxiety can definitely set in and make it worse. Ironically, those who look to alcohol to escape their emotional distress find that after it's all said and done, the alcohol can make the situation itself worse. And that's because alcohol affects the brain in many negative ways. As we mentioned, with the neurotransmitters, they're unable to properly function, and this causes a lot of anxiety for others who are trying to balance out from the previous night itself. Others can become subject to addiction. It could be genetic, or it could become more of a social type of addiction, where an individual is not comfortable unless they have a beer or a glass of wine or a martini in their hands. And other emotions can include depression, guilt itself for drinking, anger, and anxiety. So there is really no answer for one's emotional problems through any type of substance. It's improper coping in itself, but alcohol merely adds to bigger problems. So it's very important that we understand that moderation is key. Too many times in life, everyone looks for an extreme. They look for excess. And with anything in life, an excess can lead to issues that we later regret, whether it is eating too much candy, too much sugar, or exercising too much. So it can be anything. Matter of fact, too much water can even be a bad thing, believe it or not. So if addicted, obviously you have to walk away from the particular drug. But for those who are not addicted, but maybe have a little bit of social issues that need to be curbed, moderation is key. So individuals the night of before, they need to, first of all, ensure that they're not driving, but secondly, need to maybe avoid heavy drinking, avoid higher proof drinks, consume water while one is drinking to buffer the negative effects of dehydration itself. So there are numerous ways to limit. And if you cannot limit, then you might have an issue with addiction that you might want to look into. Obviously, health experts agree a glass of wine can be healthy for the heart, but that's one glass of wine, not two, not three, not four. So again, moderation is key for those who are not addicted, but for those who are addicted, sometimes it's best just to walk away, which in itself is a whole nother video, a whole nother discussion. This is our substance abuse practitioner certification. It's open to qualified professionals, usually those who are already licensed counselors, or even those who work in social work or work in other social venues that work with the state that are trying to help individuals. Other professionals include those who are addiction specialists or work with addiction foundations who want to help others learn how to fight addiction and to become free of its chains, so to speak. Our program's link is below, and our number is 330-652-7776, and our email is info@AIHCP.org. On behalf of Dr. Fleury and also Dr. Costellos and Dr. Shear, who are three of the instructors who teach the courses in our substance abuse counseling program, I'd like to wish you a good day and be moderate in your drinking. And if addicted, find the necessary steps to avoid falling into the trap that addiction leads to, especially considering all the negative health disadvantages that can occur over time by drinking too much. Thank you.